Okay, welcome back, everybody. So we are on 7.4, so provincial budget consultation. So I did send this out to everybody a couple of weeks ago, just the opportunity individually to put your say in about the provincial budget, but we also have the opportunity to submit something as a board. Now, it wouldn't be appropriate for us to do this survey as a board because there definitely would be differing opinions, but we do have a couple of things, that we can be in favor of. And that is number one, that the government find efficiencies when it comes to revenue and expenses, and to use infrastructure to build up the economy and provide jobs to Albertans. So those were the two things. And because infrastructure and modernization or new builds is very important to us, I'm just wondering if the board is interested in sending that kind of a submission. So that's all it would be. It's really not our purview to decide where government revenue should come from or what other portfolio should be reduced. But we do encourage efficiencies, just as we are being efficient with our funds, and infrastructure is important to us because we want to provide our students and our families, meet the needs of our students and our families, and provide Catholic education for those who are requesting it. So just wondering if that's something that the board is in favor of. Okay, so I see Trustee Efron.
Yes, Madam Chair, I believe so. Our track record shows we've been very, very unique in some way or form, especially in our cooperation with some of our neighboring boards. So those are some of the efficiencies that government has been talking about. So let's highlight that back to them, right? If you look at the reports that we just received, both from Mr. Bouchard and Latka, we're talking about a SuperNet. That isn't an easy distinct agreement to go into to support efficiency for our build as it is in Beaumont, as indicated that right now, some of our discussions in Lacombe as we're building, it's again showing that we've always cooperated. Bassin, we've done that. So let's highlight that back to government so they know what we're doing. Thank you.
Okay. So Charlie, would you have captured that for a letter to be prepared for that submission?
So just for clarity, what I've captured is that the board write a letter that supports or that speaks to balancing efficiencies with the need for continued infrastructure projects. And that would be submitted as part of the province's budget feedback process. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, but Trustee Efron, did you have more to add to that, like the cooperative part that?
Yeah, some of those cooperative, Mr. Bouchard is aware of. So if he wants to list them up to, to show, we put in the talk where what we do, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments from trustees on that?
I just think it's a great idea to send the letter out.
Okay, thank you. It'll be a letter and it'll be a submission, the way that it's set up on that website for the consultation process. There's a direct email for that, I believe. Okay. Uh, 7.5 central office Christmas closure.
So thank you, Madam Chair. Just as part of our usual processes, we inform the board of the central office Christmas closure. So despite my efforts to have the staff work till 8 p.m. on the 24th, senior administration has talked me out of that, and We will close the office on the 24th through to January 1st. From the 29th to December 31st, is it? That will be the office, the front door will be closed. Staff can use holidays and time in lieu, that kind of, should they wish to not be here, but the door will be closed. And it is an opportunity for staff to use vacation. But it's truly from the 24th to January 1st, the building will not be accessible to the public. So we are informing you of such.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 7.6, 2021 board retreat. So we, last year we had a bit of a different retreat. We had a one-day retreat with admin, and it was a presentation at central office. Traditionally, we have also done a 2-day or a day and a half retreat out at Pigeon Lake. But again, it's different times, different circumstances. So Trustee Afon and myself, we just had a quick discussion about this, and we're thinking we could delay the board retreat to next May and look at Wetaskiwin as the central place to go to, but have some kind of day. There is also a division book study that is complements our faith plan that we would be receiving. We'd do some book studying, then have this retreat day or half a day in Wetaskiwin. And perhaps Father Roger would be able to be a part of a bit of a presentation on the Mass. And then we would go to Mass together Saturday evening in Wetaskiwin. So we're keeping it a little bit simpler, and hopefully we do have a bit more freedom to do something more, depending on how the environment is at that time in May. But we thought leaving it till May might be the best opportunity for us to have a meaningful board retreat. So anyhow, just wondering what trustees think of that. Again, we will have the book study to work on, or to have and read between sometime soon, probably before Christmas, up until the retreat time. So just wondering, any feedback on that, or is everybody, does that sound good to everybody? I also thought it would be a nice opportunity to meet Father Roger. We really haven't had a chance to meet him yet, and for him to meet us. So, okay, so we'll look for that. We can move that to sometime in May, and Henry and I will look at that. It'll probably be a Saturday. Yeah, that's what we said, because we go to Saturday night Mass together. Okay, so we'll continue to work on the details of that. Thank you. Okay, Father Leduc, Father Lacombe, and St. Augustine reports there. Was there any news or any comments on that, on the school reports?
I generally just provided for the information of trustees, but if I may add, it was a commentary through the Alberta School Councils Association, as the board may want to look at providing me with some context for asking for these reports. And it might be whether on how you view these reports, what information, how they inform the board, and maybe how they're utilized in terms of the boards as one of those sources of information about school councils. So, it just maybe will help me kind of promote getting the reports in, getting the information that trustees get out of these reports, and help formulate for new trustees how to look at these reports and how to use them to form your perspective for the jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's a good point. Personally, for myself, I do appreciate the reports and the different activities that school councils are doing. Even though I do attend the school council meetings, I find it interesting to know what they're doing in the different schools. For example, at Father Leduc, they have a volunteer coordinator, which would be very helpful to that school environment and coordinate volunteers who don't want to come to school council meetings, but they still want to give their time in some ways. I thought that was a real nice compliment to their school council. Anybody else have any comments about the school council reports? Trustee Afan?
Like my comment is, it shows again the engagement piece, that not all that come to the school council meetings are engaged. We have parents that are home who are very engaged. Like you said, they come in on their own time to support whatever it is. And some, it shows again, are not just fundraising. If they have a fundraising committee, they are doing their fundraising. However, school council is also focused on supporting some of the needs and the volunteer part of it, right? That they are engaged in supporting the need of the school, which is the basis of school councils in the legislation. So pretty much, I like seeing it, just again to give some of those ideas, because it encompasses all our community and tells you what is happening. So like right now, the two that are missing, my indication is, there are some little things that need to be looked at over there to support them if there need be. So again, that's just the way I view these reports.
I do have a comment from, I'm not sure which school council it was, but they really promoted if the board was going to buy any, or the school division was going to buy any items or giveaways or whatever, fridge magnets would be a really good one. Because other things just kind of get lost, but those fridge magnets just kind of stick on your fridge forever. So anyhow, I'm just passing that on. But yeah, the engagement of the school councils is really important. And I know the two schools that haven't reported yet, the one school, they just they prepare like quite a few parent engagement evenings that trying to gather in more of the community. So there's a lot of effort there. Definitely there's a lot of effort in, I find in the report, like when I read the reports, that there's a lot of effort to promote school councils and to, provide opportunities for engagement. So I do appreciate them. But if you want us to put more thought into it, like in your communication to school councils, we can definitely do so. Are there any other comments? Okay, then we will move on. The board positive path forward. That's there for our reference.
You're
And
missing
we
the
will be taking care of some of those items going forward.
good news stories.
Oh, why do I miss that?
Mr. Bouchard, what's happening in the stories? Good news for the division.
I'm not sure. Are you looking for something specifically?
No.
Well, I would just like to offer, Catholic Education Sunday, we managed to get that video together, and I just appreciate our parish priest for being a part of that. So, and I think we can use clips of it for different things through, when we want to do another video eventually. So anyhow, just again, appreciate the involvement of our priests and their dedication to Catholic Education Sunday that particular weekend.
And thank you, Madam Chair, for putting those together. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, if I could jump in for a second. I believe we had an addition to the agenda, 7.9, Grace.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, I have it here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have put it in before board positive path forward. So yes, I was just going to do a recap on Grace. So yesterday we had a Grace regional workshop, and Trustee Tugwood was on it, and Charlie. So basically it was just trying to figure out where people are at, how Grace is working, what the thoughts are going forward, how to keep things going in the virtual setting of things. Donna, do you want to give some thought on your
Okay, I really enjoyed
participation?
hearing all about it. What I found interesting is this thing they're going to be doing about Newfoundland and Labrador, because I think it's really important that we know what happened there and how it happened, and what was the internal things that happened as well as the external, and the similarities and differences to our province. Like I'm looking forward to hearing about that, because we have to remember that we're going to always be challenged by the public school board. That there's always going to be people here who don't believe that we need a Catholic separate school. That's not going to go away just because this government right now hasn't created any problems for us, and they seem to be in favor of choice, and we're all feeling pretty safe, you know. But I think in the future it's always going to be challenged when we look at other provinces and things that happened in Canada. So I just found that was really interesting, and it really helped me to understand why we need this at this point, because for a while there I was thinking, we're teaching to the converted. Do we really need this? And now I'm thinking, yeah, we do.
Yeah, I think it's important that we know our history, and that will be a very good presentation to be able to share once it's ready.
The other thing is on November 29th from 7 to 8, there's an evening of grace with the Archbishops of Alberta and Steve Angrisano, and it's going to be an hour of reflection and hope. So I'm looking forward to that. That's all on virtual.
It's on Zoom. Yeah,
it's on Zoom. Yeah,
and there's only 1,000 spots.
Right, so you've got to reserve early.
Yeah, so everybody would have received that that email. But I guess Henry and I talked briefly about Grace going forward. So we did do a draft plan, and myself, Henry, and Lynn James, we did share that with trustees, and we're going to have another look at it and with Charlie, and just look at how we go forward, because we don't want to don't want to duplicate work, and we want to kind of align with some of Caitlin's work and time things properly, and roll things out in a smooth way. So we're going to have another look at it, and then we'll bring it back to the board for an overview. But I guess it's the community engagement in Grace that we're trying to get to last year with our community events that we had. So it's harder as, you know, being the time that we're at. So we are going to have to rely on the newsletter, some social media, and reaching out to our parishes. So I think that's all that I had. Trustee Tugwood?
I think right now we're in such a difficult time. This is not first and foremost on our parents' minds. There's so many other things, and so it's kind of like a wait, and hopefully this pandemic will end. Hopefully.
You know, the one thing that I did want to do, if everybody wouldn't mind participating in this, but there was the one question that we opened up with. It would be good if we just went around and just gave our thoughts on that. So, and the question was, where do you see hope in Catholic education? And that's what we opened up with, just everybody giving their comments about that. And that's related to the theme those who hope will renew their strength. I think that's the passage. So anyhow, if everybody just wants to give it some thought, and then when you're ready, just feel free to speak. And where do you see hope in Catholic education?
Maybe I should,
Tugwood?
yeah,
Yep.
maybe I should start. So I had said at the meeting that I see hope, and we're certainly seeing a lot more on social media. And right now, everything is on Zoom and Facebook and Twitter. And I don't go on TikTok. I try not to, or Snapchat, but certainly on Twitter and Facebook, we're seeing a lot more positive things about Catholic education as put on by the different schools and Star Catholic. And I think I see some hope there, and in the teaching staff and in our students.
Thank you. And the first thing that came to mind for me for that question was that we are united in prayer in these difficult times. Like all our Catholic schools, our parishes, and even our other Catholic communities, healthcare, Catholic social services, all those things. Right now, we have that ability to be united in prayer, and we bring others to Christ, right? Christ is our hope. So anybody else want to comment? Trustee F1,
I see hope in most of our families in our communities, how united they become, how understanding they've become of Catholic teachings and Catholic education. So there is hope there if we look at how far we've come. Like you stated, there's a lot that has been happening, but our parents, our communities do know that we bring something to the table, which is unique, and that is the hope we're talking about, and that is the support, that is the community that we've become to be there for one another. So that hope alone tells me that our Catholic education, regardless of who you are, once you step into that arena, you are welcome, you become a family, and you are supported both in your educational journey as well as your spiritual journey and your emotional journey. Because our teachers go above and beyond to be there to work with these families, to work with these students, to work with these children that needed hope and guidance.
thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Trustee Sirwa?
Yes, I see hope in our students. Their faith comes through. And I think in the teachers too. And that's why I always say we have to keep hiring Catholic teachers in order for the faith to come through. And even in my work at the hospital every morning when we have our overhead prayer, I sense hope. So, and at church too, we have hope. We talk about it, we learn about it. So we're hopeful.
Thank you. Trustee Svidich?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more that it really does come from those leaders, like the teachers from the schools, in our parishes, in the community, and the kids find a way, like especially with the technology. I see my kids collaborating, just because they can't go to the kids group, they find a way to collaborate anyway. So it's really good to see that, and you see those leaders within those groups as well, doing that, the teaching of the Catholic doctrine. It's really enlightening to see. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with that.
Thank you. Any staff want to share their hope in Catholic education?
Yeah, we heard a great deal of hope in the messages that were relayed to us in our CSI visits with administrators. We asked them to report on how are things going at the school, and it's a trying time for everybody, but they all relayed that message that there's a real positiveness, and people aren't losing sight of the goals of Catholic education. So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Thank you. Comments? So there is a chance that I'll get the slide presentation from the Grace meeting, and I'll share that with everybody, with trustees, just to see what the event was about. And the next event will be in April, and it'll be the provincial meeting that we were supposed to host this past fall. Star Catholic was going to be the host again. Anyhow, that's been delayed till April, so that'll be an opportunity to get together and be part of Grace provincially again. Okay, and our positive path forward. We are working on a few things there. The board work plan. So coming up in December, we have the opportunity to consider meetings with our sister boards and municipalities. I'm not sure what that would look like. So how does the board feel about, or we can leave that discussion till December, I guess. Just consider it that we usually do that in December. We start reaching out to our sister boards and our municipalities. Again, I mean, we still are meeting, have the ability to meet via Zoom, but think of reasons of why we would be meeting and make it a purposeful meeting. So. And the board calendar is there, trustee expense claims, and then the action sheet. Charlie, if you just want to go over.
So I have our annual education results report and education plan. We'll post those to the division website and forward them off to government. First Nation Métis Inuit trustee discussion. The long range planning committee will create a plan to guide the discussion, and we'll place it on the January board agenda. Policy committee will consider adding the 5 marks of a Catholic superintendent and an excellent Catholic teacher to policy. ASBA position statements will send the letter to MLAs updating the position statements from both the spring and fall ASBA meetings. Honoring Spirit Awards will follow up with the board chair and St. Ben's regarding those awards. Budget feedback submission will submit a letter expressing to government the board's support of a budget that balances efficiencies with the need for continued work on infrastructure projects. The board retreat. On our end, we'll have books ordered for board members in preparation for a May retreat. That's what I have. Okay, just going back to that ASBA meeting, it includes the spring meeting as well. The spring meet. Oh, sorry, you said that. The special meeting. We'll add the special meeting too, but it'll be a just a one line about our support for the CAS legislation and working with ASBA on that. Like our board is in support of the CAS legislation and ASBA working on behalf of boards for that.
Okay, and otherwise, any correspondence has been forwarded, any emails? Any other questions or comments? We're good to close with our closing prayer.
Someone was working on this prayer.
Sorry,
Looks-
what's that?
I said someone has been working on this prayer. Look more
Yeah.
in Eastern tradition now.
Yeah. Okay, so if you'd all join me in prayer in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Grant me, O Lord, my God, a mind to know you, a heart to seek you, wisdom to find you, conduct pleasing to you, faithful perseverance in waiting for you, and a hope of finally embracing you. St. Thomas Aquinas, pray for us. Amen. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
See you later, guys.